Okay, when I paint, guys, I'm going to use a cool color because I used warm colors for my crayon. I used red and yellow and orange, okay? So I'm going to make my flower a cool color. I don't want to just use the blue from in here. I'm going to mix blue and purple to make my own color. So we're going to mix some colors with this one. So I take my brush, I swirl around in my bucket a little bit, or my can, and I put some water in the bottom of my little paint pan there, okay? And then I'm going to get a drop of water and put it on the blue, and a drop of water and put it on the purple. All right, and I'm going to use mostly blue, so I swirl my brush in here, swirl, swirl, swirl. I'm just like the old day, like we used to do in the olden days. I'm going to swirl. When I say olden days, I meant when you were in first and kindergarten. We swirl it in there on its side, so we get a lot of paint, and I put it in here. I'm going to hold this down so I can kind of like wipe it off like you're wiping off peanut butter on the side of the jar, right? Okay. So then I'm going to grab a little bit more water and put it in there. So now I've got blue in there. But I want a little bit of purple in there too, so when I paint my flower. So I get a little bit of purple and I just mix it in there. And I don't want to grab, if you grab too much purple, it'll turn the whole thing purple. But that looks pretty good there, okay? So now, when I paint my flower, I'm going to paint the direction of my flowers, or my petals. So I'm going to go this way. So see how I'm going through all my lines I made? Okay? And you can see all my crayon start to pop out, right? And I'm just using the tip of my brush. I'm not jamming my brush into the paper. And if it looks too light for you right now, if you say, oh, Mr. Kaser, I wanted mine darker than that, I'll show you how to do that in a second. But I'm going just the direction of the petals because it'll make it look more real, okay? I might run out of this color, but you can always steal some. See how it puddles and spots? I can use that in other places, okay? When it starts to pool and make little puddles, get what I mean? Okay. So there it is. Now that I've done that, maybe I want to make a few spots look a little bit darker, okay? So I'll just take my brush, and I'll just poke the blue. And I'm going to make just some lines, okay? And I'll poke the blue again. And I'm not going back and forth. I'm just doing see how I'm just like doing little lines here and there? Because what it's doing is, it's going to bleed into the paper, or bleed into the rest of the flower there. Okay? And then I'll even take some purple, and I'll do the same thing. Now my brush, there's a lot of water on my brush that I want to get off, so I'll take my brush and I'll kind of push it onto a paper towel and see how it gets all that extra water off. And I'll do the same thing with the purple. I'll just make some purple lines. Okay? And you can see from the example how this looks when it's done. Okay, see how cool that looks now? Yep. And then the next step, after all this dries, will be to paint the background in. Okay? All right, so that's our next step.